once I hit the go button, we'll be live. So
Gotcha.
I'm about to do that right now.
Pokemon Go?
Pokemon Go.
Motherfucker.
Every day.
I'm already pissing Eugene off, and we haven't even started yet. There we are.
God.
Hello, everybody.
What's up?
Hi, everybody.
No, you gotta do it right. Hi, everybody.
Hi,
to
Dr.
start-
Steve.
Oh,
I was about to start taking notes in my Audacity, and I don't have to.
they're home with dinner.
Yeah, that's all on this guy.
I hear them.
So we're live then, right? We're on?
We are indeed.
All right. Then why don't we sync up and we'll get started so you lovely young gentlemen can go about your day.
Pyro Warriors.
Exactly.
Is that picking that up? Yeah, it is picking that up. Okay, just making sure I'm on the right microphone.
All right. In 3, 2, this is weird. 1.
Oh, that was terrible.
Eugene, what chat?
Oh God, I'm not even prepared. I'm at 313.
So weird. Steve, what you at?
2051.
Jeez. All right.
We got Andy with us.
Oh,
Okay.
hi, Andy.
Hang on just a sec before we start. I need to go grab my food.
There were so many moments.
Oh my god. Oh my god. That is definitely going to be the thumbnail for this episode.
What have you got?
I have to take a picture of it. Just in case. Alright. I'm going to throw this in the Zoom chat so you can see exactly what I'm going to make the thumbnail for the week.
I'm looking forward to it.
You're making the most impressive pose that I've ever seen in my
Fantastic.
life.
Let me look at this. Let me see what it is that's happened to my life. Is this going to be emoji quality?
It's pretty close. You've got the hat. Just take a look, buddy.
Oh, that is the pose.
It is, isn't it?
Quality. That's me going all so fresh, so clean. Oh. Here's Steve.
Steve's got a chili relleno, or is it a corn dog? Steve's got chili dogs.
Don't give me that look. It's not Infendo radio if we don't record at dinner time.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's fair. Although I feel like for most, maybe I'm old. I feel like
God damn it.
dinner time is not 8 p.m. Like
Well,
maybe I'm wrong.
I
lost
tonight
myself.
tonight dinner time for us is going to be like 10:30 because Heather doesn't get off work until like 10. So
I suspect that Steve waits until the show's about to start, and that's when your time is.
it's because secretly he really wants us to make emojis out of him eating.
Yeah, it's his thing. He just doesn't want to admit it. So, like, he waits until the show's about to start, and then he's like, all right, fire me up some taquitos.
No, it's Olive Garden tonight, dude.
That's what that was. That was a breadstick I saw. That. Oh, girl. Yes, sir. I love me some Olive Garden breadsticks.
Oh, God.
Okay,
All right,
well.
so when we're all ready and willing, we'll begin. And I've never done this before, so forgive me if it's awful. But that's the thing we'll do. So,
Are we
all ready and willing?
Yes.
Okay. Steve is off camera. It's okay, Steve. You can go off camera while you eat. It's fine.
No, it's not fine. No, it's fine.
I'm probably going to be asking us to introduce ourselves like we do on the regular show, or saying like, how are we? So be prepared for that. I'll start with Eugene. All right, let's freaking...
You can't see me, but my thumb is up right now.
Don't forget to Control B your Audacity, and so you'll have a little note.
Yeah, I will be incredibly sure to do that at any moment where it is available, because I have a feeling I'm going to need a few notes. Oh,
A few?
God. All right, guys, let's do this. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Infendo Radio. My name is not Eugene, which is probably strange for many of you. My name is Lucas, and for whatever reason, I am doing this introduction That is because this is not a normal episode of Infendo Radio. This is a very Pokemon-ish episode of Infendo Radio. The reason for that being, there was a ton of Pokemon in the news last week, but we had our end of the month patron special where all we did was play Nintendo's, and it was fantastic. A brotherhood was forged between two of our team members who got a tie. If you haven't listened to it yet, you totally should. But tonight, we are going to be doing a little bit of Pokemon chat just to get ourselves and you caught up if you missed the news. I am joined by two of our three regular Infendo Radio hosts, one of which is the ever effervescent and always lovely Eugene. Eugene, how you doing tonight, buddy?
I'm doing all right. I'm ready to talk some Pokemon. Man, isn't it crazy how much Pokemon news we got in this last week? Like, it's just, like, I'm ready to hit it.
Like 2 weeks before E3. It's always unexpected. Steven, how are you tonight, my friend? Is all well in your wonderful world of Pokemon?
Oh, all is amazing. I've been playing Hyrule Warriors all week. I'm just kidding. No, I'm excited. Yeah, I have. But yeah, I'm kind of excited about some of this Pokemon news. Some of it I'm not. But damn it if we didn't get a new Build-A-Bear. And damn it if I didn't get it 2 hours later.
There's a lot of Pokemon news, and for those of us who are here, it varies on the spectrum from furious and outraged to like full on in love. So we figure we'll kind of give you our
I was just gonna say, I think we ought to start like way back before we got the actual news, because I feel like our emotions have been a roller coaster, man.
That's a good idea. Yeah, because the big one, we didn't know anything about Pokemon Quest. We knew very little about Gen 8. Honestly, we knew nothing. But we heard a lot about Pokemon Let's Go, and we've been talking about it on the show, too. The leaks pretty much turned out to be 100% true. And I was terrified of that, personally. Like, I thought that Pokemon was changing and, like, that was going to be the new Gen 8. And I was freaking out when I heard that, like, the new Pokemon was going to be this kind of, like, from what I heard, this kind of, like, watered-down tie-in with Pokemon Go kind of thing. So I was coming into this with a very negative expectation.
And, you know, I have to say that I kind of came in not immediately positive on this news, but when when it was first announced and we first heard about it, I wasn't as initially negative as I think that you and Steve were. But at the same time, who knows? It could have been not that way, but I was like almost 100% sure that this wasn't going to be actual Gen 8, and I think that's where you guys were a little bit more concerned, you know?
Well, yeah, because had what we gotten actually been Gen 8, that would have been really, really bad for Pokemon fans. So the fact that this really isn't Gen 8, that makes it a bit better for me. I'm on the fence. I could really go either way, and I'm curious to see how I'm going to feel at the end of the show tonight, because I think I really could go either direction with this news. So,
yeah, it was definitely kind of an emotional low and high, because I mean, we're Pokemon nerds. At least two of us here are wearing freaking nerdy Pokemon hats while we're doing the recording. We take Pokemon much more seriously than two grown men should. So, like, we don't want our precious franchise twisted and changed in any way. We were a little freaked out when we heard all the rumors.
Sure.
Why don't we start, though, at the beginning of the press conference? Because even before all the Let's Go stuff, which we'll get into, there was another game that got revealed that nobody knew was getting revealed, and that was called Pokemon Quest. It turned out to be a smartphone app that's also available on the Switch, currently only available on the Switch, as weird as that is, coming to smartphones at a later date. Who saw this coming?
Nope.
Anyone?
Not me.
No.
But we probably should have seen it coming, quite honestly, because I mean, let's just be real. Like, there are always a plethora of spin-off type of Pokemon games, right? Like, we got the Rumble series and the Ranger series and all that fun stuff. So, like, I think the Pokemon Company, if there's one thing that they're good at, they're good at keeping their IP fresh. Be it with the actual mainline Pokemon series, or keeping it fresh with the little add-ons. Be it like like I said, Rumble or Shuffle or anything like that.
Yeah.
I was not impressed at all. Like, I don't like Pokemon Go. I've never played Pokemon Shuffle. I actually did play Picross, even though that was a 3DS game.
Mm-hmm.
But I just don't have a lot of interest in a lot of the side games, unfortunately.
This
in fact,
one,
I can't think of a side game I actually do have interest in.
Pokemon Pinball. That's about it.
I would,
but I never even played the second one.
I would recommend, and maybe I'm totally off base here, but I had a lot of fun with that board game one. What was that called? It wasn't Conquest.
I know what you're talking about. Pokemon.
Yeah. Pokemon.
I'll have to look it up. Keep talking. I'll keep vamping and I'll look it up.
You got it. But no, I was actually going to ask you guys, I played Pokemon Quest the night that it came out, and I didn't know what it was because all I had seen were some screenshots, but I knew it was some kind of mobile app, and I really didn't like it at all. Like, I went into it with an open mind because I didn't know what we were going to get with it. It's very simplistic. If you guys have played it, you basically just go to a map and there's wild Pokemon, and your Pokemon automatically moves to the location. You have the option of choosing which attack that they know you want to use to hurt the other Pokemon. They attack automatically in between that. You can turn that feature off and just have them choose their attacks themselves. And that's just the entire thing. They defeat everything in their way, and you beat a boss and you move on, and then you get more experience. And it's just a constant grind of getting more experience.
So if they can battle all by themselves, what's the point of even playing the game?
That's the thing. And like, that's what a mobile game is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it plays like the worst of mobile gaming. Like, there's some good stuff out there. Pokemon Go is a really good example of like a well-made mobile game. It demands a certain level of like interaction from you, and despite the fact that I haven't played it in a long time, like it's got a following for a reason. But this game is like, it literally just exists so you can log in and advance another inch or however far you're going to go while you're like at work and you're bored and there's nothing going on.
Yeah, that just doesn't even sound fun to me. Like, if I'm going to do something on my phone while I'm at work, I'd rather hop on a chat or check Twitter or do something like that.
And honestly, it's a free game, but I don't even think I would recommend like downloading it, because it doesn't provide anything. It doesn't give you anything. It's literally just a way to pass time when you're bored. And on your Switch, there's so many other ways to do that. Like I understand the use for it on a mobile system if you literally just want to pass time. But short of that, there's really not a point in even getting it. And the stuff that you buy, the in-game money that you buy to speed up events, can run you like $20 or $30. Like,
seriously?
They've got packs anywhere from like $2 to like $30. And if you want to like decorate your camp with all of the exclusive stuff, there's like a $30 get everything pack. It's kind of gross.
Wow. Yeah. You could pay like $30 to unlock all the puzzles in Pokemon Picross, and I did that just because I didn't like doing a puzzle and waiting for 3 hours and doing a puzzle and waiting. But I don't mind paying $30 for a 3DS game. $30 for a mobile game, that's outrageous.
Yeah.
And see, the thing about that throws me off about that is like, I would be quite all right paying $30 if that's all I had to pay. But it sounds like this is like consumable items. So like, you pay the $30 and it's not like, you can play forever unlimited. You still have to re-up after your time runs out or whatever, So that's
exactly how it works. Yeah, it's
thanks.
Just it's in-game cash to keep you going, and like it's not fun. Like, if the game was fun, even I could understand it. Like the Fire Emblem game that came out on mobile, that one was at least kind of fun. It felt kind of Fire Emblem-ish. It had those same like, you can only play 5 times and you got to wait 20 minutes or pay money to keep going, and even that sucked. But at least the gameplay itself was engaging. Mm-hmm. This gameplay is like bare minimum. Like, you're literally just tapping a button. Like, it's just not very good. It's
Yeah.
not a well-made game. Like there's better Pokemon apps out there.
I finally got to watching your Let's Play of it, and I'm sure that I got much more enjoyment out of watching you yell at the game than I would have actually playing the game. So,
yeah. It wasn't good.
Yeah, like I still haven't had a chance to sit down and watch the Let's Play, but when I do, it sure as hell ain't gonna be to watch the game.
Right.
Like, I know that for sure, because that game looks terrible.
Um,
And you said it's not even out on the phones yet.
Yeah, not from what I've seen. It's coming to phones at a later date. It's only out on the Switch right now. But that actually kind of like brings up an interesting point, and I guess it kind of moves us into the second game that got announced, which is the one we all knew about. It seems like Pokemon is trying to move their app game onto Switch. Because now we've got this app that's on both systems, and we've got Pokemon Go, which now has an actual like console equivalent game. Because
Right.
Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee is by all means a version of Pokemon Go that you can play without having to go outside, you know.
Right.
So for whatever reason, it seems like, and I'm sure there's money behind this, but it seems like Nintendo realizes that Pokemon is a series that does well both on mobile and now on Switch, and they're trying to capitalize on that. So
Right.
whether it's good or bad, I guess, is up to you and your level of enjoyment that you get from these games. But that seems to be the direction we're going.
For sure.
Hold on. I'm
Yeah.
I'm just excited to see the Kanto region in these graphics. Like the graphics from what I've seen actually do look pretty nice.
Yeah.
And the fact that my Pikachu's actually going to follow me around, I love that. I missed that from Pokemon Yellow, and then what was the other one that did it? Pokemon Crystal?
I want to say,
Um,
Yeah, it was.
I missed
No,
that.
no, it was Heart Gold and Soul Silver.
Oh, that's right.
That's right.
Oh, and
Yeah,
it wasn't in Heart Gold Soul Silver. You can basically pick your Pokemon. I really like that feature because you can pick any Pokemon basically to follow behind you, right?
And you're going to be able to do that in this game too. Actually, you
Cool.
have a Pikachu and an Eevee that either follow behind you or sit on your head. But there's been video footage of people with Gengar and Voltorb and Bulbasaur, and so it sounds like you will be able to just have whatever Pokemon you want following you around. I love that. I hope that comes back in Gen 8 because that's always been a fun feature. It's something that that Monster Hunter 3DS Pokemon clone game did that I thought was really cool. You actually feel like you're connecting more with your creatures when they're like out and about with you, which is just it's fun. It makes it more organic.
It does.
But
Well,
yeah, I guess that kind of brings us right to Let's Go. What do you guys think? Like we've had the reveal and everything. Let's each take a minute or two and share our feelings. Who wants to go?
Let me go
you
first,
I want to go last.
I'm
'cause
the one
somewhere in the
that's.
middle.
I feel like I'm the one that's just like much more overwhelmingly positive on this game than you guys. Like it hits me right where it needs to hit me for a lot of different reasons. Number one, I think I've mentioned this before, but my girlfriend is heavily into Pokemon Go, so another game that I can play with her is better. Like I'm not excited that I have to pay $60 for two games, or I mean $60 a piece for a game for each of us, because that's what's going to end up happening. But to have another game that I can play with Heather that's just wonderful. And to top it off, it's going to be the Pokemon Go that we already love, but with like basically added elements on top of it, like an overworld and everything like that, which is what I thought the mobile game was missing. So I'm all for this game. I especially knowing that it's not going to replace Gen 8 or whatever, right? Like we're still going to get like our actual Pokemon game. So I mean, hell, I don't expect all the hardcore Pokemon players to play this. Like, that's probably not going to be a thing. But to give another reason for players who may not have been into the Pokemon series otherwise to get into the Pokemon series potentially, I think that's great.
Well, and maybe it's going to be the gateway drug for some of those more casual players. And they're like, hey, this is kind of cool. Maybe
Yeah.
I will try the next Pokemon game that comes out on the Switch sometime next year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. At best, it's that. At worst, they just start churning out this, for lack of a better word, like casual series alongside the main games.
Right.
And they, increase their fan base.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, you're right. Like, I don't think this, Steve. I don't think this is going to replace the main game. But like you said, like if this is like maybe a, a way to get some people like my girlfriend really into the main game, then that's a win for the Pokemon Company and Nintendo, right? Because then they're gonna get not only the $60 for this, but they're gonna be getting players to purchase the mainline game. Hopefully, So I see it as a win.
Yeah. And see, I'm a little more on the fence on this one. I got to admit, I was pretty turned off originally by the fact that I had heard there were no wild battles in the game because all I was doing was reading these article titles. Then when I actually sat down to read an article, I realized that what it actually means is not no wild battles, but no random battles. So you'll be able to see the Pokemon running around the world, kind of like basically just like you do in Pokemon Go. And I'm actually completely okay with that. My biggest concern is this is a $60 game. It's very, very much like a heavy version of Pokemon Go, if you will, where, Go is the light version you play while you're out and about on your phone. This one seems like it's going to have a few more features than Pokemon Go, and obviously a different world to explore than, the one you're walking around in. What worries me is I know the Kanto region very well. I played it in Red, Blue, and Yellow. I played it again in Gold, Silver, and Crystal. I played it again in Heart Gold and Soul Silver and Fire Red and Leaf Green. I've been through this region many times. I know how small it is compared to some of the newer regions. And I worry what's going to happen after you get to the, I guess, Victory Road and I assume the Pokemon League will be there. I don't know what exactly you'll do at it, but that's what worries me is what happens after the Pokemon League. Is there any kind of end game? Are they going to be releasing any updates for it, or will there just be another version? Like, is that worth $60 to me? I'm not sure right now.
That is a good question too.
And even more than that, they've got the Pokeball accessory for it, which is retailing for $50. So is this game, and granted you can use the Pokeball accessory with Pokemon Go, is this game worth $110 to me? Probably not.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not as sour on it as I was before, but I'm still very, very on the fence about this one. I really could go either way, depending on the day of the week.
Well, that's a good point you bring up, Steve, because Pokemon Go is a game that's pretty much always growing and expanding. And is the console version going to be able to do that? Are they just going to add Johto and start allowing you to catch Gen 2 Pokemon? Are they going to require will that be DLC? Will that be a new game? How are they going to handle kind of Pokemon Go's level of growth? Because I assume they're going to want to keep including that stuff at some point.
Right.
Right now it's just Kanto, but what will they do? In another year, will they have Let's Go Cyndaquil and Let's Go Totodile? Will it be DLC content? Will they just not do it? I didn't even think of that, but that makes a lot of sense actually. Because just by its very nature, Pokemon Go is a game that doesn't get old. It's constantly being added to. I think they're just starting to add the Alolan Pokemon now. So
yeah, which I don't know.
I just caught a weird looking Execute in my Pokemon Go, and I was fucking pumped.
You just caught true Execute, my friend. So my thoughts and impressions on Let's Go Pikachu. I was freaking out before the thing. I had messaged these guys in private, and I was like, if this is the future of Pokemon, just count me out right now. I'm done. Game Freak, you lost. Because I was thinking this was it. So you have no idea how relieved I was when I found out that Gen 8 was coming out. At this point, I could care less about Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. If it's good, great. If it's not, fine. Either way, that doesn't affect me because my game's coming out next year. All that said, there's a middle of the road temptation thing for me too with this game. I don't think it's worth $60. I think for someone like me, at least, and I'm willing to say that each of you guys are going to have your own experience with it. For someone like me, it feels like a lesser Pokemon experience because a big part of Pokemon for me is battling wild Pokemon. That feature missing in and of itself is enough for me to say it's missing stuff. Why would I pay full price for a game that doesn't have that when I could pick up a game that does and, do that kind of thing? I also think it's kind of odd that this is our first $60 Pokemon game, because up until now, the games have all been on the 3DS and they've all been like $40. But now we're looking at like, full priced legitimate Switch games. I figured Gen 8 would do that. I didn't think this game would do that. And I'm realizing that the reason it is going to do it is because I'm sure a lot of people are going to be buying it and they know they can get away with that. But like,
I'm still holding out hope that that $60 price is a placeholder. But I am too. I have a feeling Nintendo's going to charge $60. Like, I think they could totally get away with it. Yeah, they're going to do it for this one to set the precedent for the next one, I feel.
Yeah.
Well, they're charging $50 for the Pokeball. Why would they can't charge any less than that for the game?
Yeah, that's probably true. Because the Pokeball is more expensive than a Joy-Con, right? Joy-Cons go for what, like $35, $40?
I think a Joy-Con, I'd have to look it up.
I think Joy-Cons are 60 for one and 80 for a pair.
That's it. Yeah, that's right.
Oh, okay. But yeah, no, the $60 price tag is kind of like a point of contention for me, because if it was $40, it'd be a lot easier to just justify it and say, hey, you know what? But I want to see that like HD Kanto, like you're talking about, Steve.
Yeah.
I want to have an Ivysaur following me around while I walk around Kanto. But like the trainer battles in Pokemon are usually the things I avoid.
Well, and like, did I dream it, or did I see Mewtwo in there?
Mewtwo's in there.
Yeah, the first HD. Well, that's not completely true, but the first like HD in Kanto region Mewtwo, sign me up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and more importantly, Ivysaur. But no, definitely. But like when I play games, like I'm playing through Heart Gold, or not Heart Gold. God, I'm playing through Gold on a phone emulator, which feels like playing Heart Gold because it's amazing. And like you haven't played Pokemon until you've played it on a good emulator that you can carry with you wherever you want on your phone.
Yeah.
But that's besides the point. That'll be on next week's Change the System. The point of this is, I usually skip trainer battles because I find them kind of boring and tedious. I like going out into the field and hunting down Pokemon and battling them and catching them. Like, I can still catch Pokemon, that's a thing, but it's missing that, like, growth and strategy thing that I really value in Pokemon. Like, I play Pokemon nowadays primarily to get through the story and to get to the post-game, where I can be battling other people online and raising up my EVs and IVs and breeding, and that's
doing
not
our custom teams that we always do.
Exactly, and that's not going to be a thing with this game. If I had like a 5-year-old son, I could play Let's Go Pikachu with him. I could give him an account. I could pop in. I could be like his Pokemon mentor, and I'd be in a whole different world where that would be so much fun for me because I could share something I love with someone that I love. But as it is, I'm a single guy. I don't have a family. Well, I don't have kids. And I don't really have anyone to share this with, like you do, Eugene. So it's missing that aspect for me. So it really comes down to, do I want to play like a watered down version of Pokemon by myself? And right now, I don't know, because like I really want Pokemon, but I don't know if it's worth it for me.
And I'm kind of in the same boat as you, Lucas, because my wife doesn't play Pokemon. And, we don't have kids. So, I don't have kids to play it with. So I don't know. I'm very on the fence about it, like I keep saying.
Yeah. And honestly, probably whether or not you get it is going to determine to a degree whether I give it a try. Because if you play it and you're like, oh, it's a lot of fun, I'm really enjoying it, I might say, okay, what the heck? I can afford it. Let's. You
realize, though, if you get it, that you have to get the Eevee version.
Well, I would probably get the Eevee version because I love Pikachu, but I don't need another Pikachu following me around. Eevee is something a little more unique and different. And I thought that was kind of cool, too. Oh, God.
Like Pikachu.
Steve's got his Pikachu plushie.
Yep, right here.
But they are making Eevee like a new Pokemon mascot, like to be premiered alongside Pikachu, they've been saying. Interesting choice. I kind of like it. I think it's cool. It harkens back to the old days of like Red and Blue, So.
Well, and in a manner of speaking, and I know that you're going to hate me for saying this, but Eevee sort of has been a starter before, too, in Pokemon Coliseum.
Yeah, it's true. Eevee's always been special to people. People build entire teams based around Eevee. Like, people love their Eevees and their Eevee.
Something I've always wanted to do, actually.
Yeah, when we got Sylveon for the first time, it was like the biggest thing ever back in like Gen 7? Gen 6?
X and Y was Gen 7,
6.
Wasn't it?
No, that was Gen 6.
Oh, yeah, you're right, Gen 6. So.
But yeah, but like that was people love Eevees, so like long story short, Eevee will be exciting. I wanted to ask one more. Oh, no, Eugene,
I was just gonna ask, was there a new Eevee evolution in Sun and Moon?
not in
No,
Sun and Moon.
Damn it! That's what.
Yeah,
That
I
there we
know.
go. That's another
we're
thing that bugs me out about that game.
we're waiting on Dragon and Ghost. I'm thinking one of those two is going to be in Gen 8.
So
Okay.
before we close this part out, I just
Oh
have
no,
to
I
say.
have something else I want to say now
Okay,
before we
good,
close off.
good, good.
And then I'm going to bring in something else because I have a whole nother thing I want to talk about with Let's Go. But you go
So
first.
so I'm really starting to realize like the reason why I'm so excited for this game, because like the last, I mean, don't get me wrong, Sun and Moon were good games. They were great. They were fantastic games, but they were just kind of a little bit too little, for my opinion. And we've talked about this before. Like, there's not really much post game anymore, and I thought that, okay, Sun and Moon's gonna improve that. Not really. And so at least with Pokemon Let's Go Eevee, Let's Go Pikachu, it's gonna be different. Now, is that different going to be good? I don't know yet. We'll find out. But at least it's going to be different.
Yeah, I'll
Right.
give you that. I wanted to bring up one thing about like I love Sun and Moon. Honestly, the post game, yeah,
Same
it
here.
sucks and it bothers me. But I thought Sun and Moon was like a really cool game, especially the first one. And I
Mhm.
have to say that my taste on it has been a little watered down with the sequels because they were so just the
Similar.
main again.
Yeah.
But that original experience from a couple of years ago, and we got that first game, that was special to me.
Well,
The one thing that bothers me with the direction Pokemon's going lately is they're very story heavy, and they have been ever since like Gen 4.
Mhm.
I kind of miss that going into a game and just playing through the game and that being the thing. I'm curious with Let's Go Pikachu if it's going to be a story heavy game or not. Because on the one hand, it's drawing inspiration from the Kanto games, those Gen 1 games where it's just like, here's a Pokemon, go murder everyone you see. And like that's the story. But on the other hand, it's a modern game coming out in modern Pokemon times. It seems to be geared more toward children and a casual audience. And I'm wondering if they're going to stick a big story in there to, kind of keep people enthralled. And I hope they don't. Like that could actually be a really refreshing thing for me that might turn the tide. If you
I-
just get into the game and it's like, here's a Pikachu, go out and be a Pikachu, like that would do it for me. I'd be like, okay, sure, run around Kanto doing whatever.
I don't think there's going to be much story to it because in that gameplay trailer they showed, I don't remember seeing any words unless it was around the battle system. And
Yeah.
generally, when they show a Pokemon trailer, they usually show other trainers in the world talking to you, but you didn't see any of that. The only time you
That's-
saw words was within a battle screen.
That's true, but I don't know. I'm a little freaked out because like they even have like the tagline like a whole new story in your first Pokemon. Like I don't know.
Well, they
I'm
called
curious.
it a whole new adventure, not a whole new story.
Okay, but like I don't know. I see them screwing it up. I see them
Yeah.
doing like, hey there, you're my son. Let's go looking for Pokemon. Oh look, a Pikachu. And then like 30 minutes later, you get the Pikachu. And then you go off and then you go back and then you have a reunion with your mother. And then like I don't know. I could see it being a thing.
Oh, you mean the same thing we've done in every generation?
That's what I'm saying. But Gens
Yeah.
1 and 2 didn't do that. Gen 1 and 2, it was like, oh, the professor's looking for you. You get a Pokemon, bye-bye, and then you just out the door doing your adventure,
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
refreshing
Uh-huh.
your second time through.
I'm excited to go back to Kanto, but at the same time, like I'm hoping it's not. I want them to not be so complacent with it. Like I want there to be some extra stuff, because like it needs to be more than a remake of the Kanto region for me. Like granted, we haven't been back there for a while, so I guess that is going to be really cool, especially to see it in a 3D world. But at the same time, I don't want to, because there's been games like this before, like where you've played the. I can't think of a good example off the top of my head, but like like a remakey type game, and then there's just not enough that's changed. Like I want there to be I want to be able to explore that world and not feel like I've already lived in it. You know what I mean? I want there to be some newness to it.
Well, and I think you might get that because all of the rumors up until this point were that this game is going to be taking place like years after Red and Blue.
Oh,
So like
cool.
Red and Blue are going to be in the game, but they're like
Oh,
adults.
I forgot about those rumors.
Yeah, so the rumors are saying that you're like a new kid, but like the 10, 15 years that passed from when we were trainers in Pokemon Red, like those years have passed in the actual game too. And this is going to be like the future of Kanto. If that's the case, sign me up. Maybe there'll be some new gym leaders or something, you know? Maybe Brock retired to go marry Misty and start a family. So now, like, you know, their kids are running the gyms or something. Like, who knows? Like, I'd be on board with that. I prefer that to just like a straight up like, hey, you played Red. Remember how good Red was? Here's some more Red. You know?
Exactly. I do not want that. I don't want to like. Sure, I'll take Giovanni and everything like that. All those types of throwbacks and everything. But I don't want. I don't want it to be okay. You go see Professor Oak, and then you have to unveil the mystery of Team Rocket, and then you realize that this rich guy Giovanni has been behind it the whole time. Like, I already know that story. Give me something different.
Yeah, exactly. You go to Viridian City, the gym leader's not there. I wonder why that is. Oh, we just got through the forest. Better get a Nidoran before you go up against Brock so you can beat it. Yeah, you don't want to just...
You know what I don't want, though? I don't want a Golden Sun, where like a Golden Sun sequel where it's basically you're playing as the kids of the original 4 heroes. I don't want that either. I want to be someone completely different in this universe if we're going to go down that route. I don't just want it to be like Red's kid and Giovanni's kid, and they're all up to the same shit that their parents were.
Right.
I think we'll get that, because I don't think Pokemon puts quite that level of like narrative into what they do. Although I will say we've already seen Giovanni's kid. His name is Silver, and he's the main antagonist of Gold and Silver. So that game turned out pretty good. But no, I totally get what you're saying. I hope it's not just, you know.
That's some deep lore. Like, that's a side quest in a
no
remake.
Kidding, right?
Yep.
Nice.
No, and I can't unthink it. Like, every time I play the game now, I'm like, I know who you are. Like, I realize it was retconned later, but like, I know who you are.
Oh, why was it retconned?
Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't his kid in the original games, but in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, there's like a side quest that you get from like an event. And
I thought that was in the original game.
It was when Celebi takes you back in time.
Yeah,
I remember that in my original headcanon. I guess I must have obviously I played Heart Gold Soul Silver sooner than that, so interesting.
Yeah, well, for what it's worth, I still remember Bulbasaur as an all grass Pokemon, so like it confuses me every time I find out he's half poison.
Yeah.
Like, my memories have been skewed over the years, I guess.
Wait, he was never an all grass Pokemon, was he?
No, he was always a grass poison.
Oh, yeah.
I remember him as an all grass Pokemon in the first few games.
Well, I remember when Ghost Poison, when that was the only type of ghost you can get. So you just assumed that all ghost types were weak to psychic, but then you found out it was poison.
I remember
psychic, not the ghost.
I realize we're getting incredibly off topic here, but I remember playing Red and Blue as a kid and saying the shows lied to me, because Ash went to get a Gengar specifically so he could beat Sabrina, who had the psychic Pokemon. I did the same thing and I got like one-shotted. And I was like, the show freaking lied. Like, go suck against Psych.
Ash took out a freaking a Rhyhorn with a Pikachu that essentially had lightning rod.
Yeah.
That's not possible.
He took out an Onix by breaking Brock's sprinkler
system
and making the water. There's actually like a chart of like all of the times Ash cheated to get badges. He's won like one badge legitimate. The show is obviously not a good example to go off of. But anyway, why don't we talk about Gen 8 and wrap up our thoughts with that? Because I feel like we've let's go to death if now we're talking about the anime, right?
Yeah.
Right. So Gen 8, I guess, yeah, like I don't know what I want from that game. I'm glad that we don't know anything about it yet. I'll tell you that much though. I kind of want to go into that game cold.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I want to know the starters. I got to know my starters.
Sure.
That's all I want to know. I don't want all the leaks. I don't want to know all the Pokemon. I love going into a Pokemon game fresh and not knowing what everything ahead of time. Because it makes me feel like a little kid again, you know?
My favorite part of Pokemon since I joined this group, since I met Lucas and Mike and everybody, was going into the new generation. It's like, what starter are you picking? What version are you getting? Mm-hmm. Like, that's the whole fun of it. And so, like Lucas, I'm really excited to see what the starters are going to be.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. It's like actually having like a Pokemon rival in real life. It's like having that like Red and Blue pick their starter Pokemon at the same time kind of thing, like in real life. It's super fun.
I bet we know which one Eugene's gonna pick, regardless.
Eugene always goes
Always
grass
the grass
types.
Pokemon. Always.
And I
Have to.
generally go fire.
There was
I
one
usually go
generation
grass.
where I didn't go grass, and I regretted it the entire game. It was when I
which
picked
generation?
whatever the fucking Kung Fu bird is, Blaziken. I hate him.
Oh,
What?
yeah.
I like Blaziken.
Nah,
Yeah,
he's the worst.
Eugene notoriously hates the fire chicken.
I really do.
You'll hate him even more when my fire chicken kicks your ass one of these days when we have.
Okay, but moving back into Gen 8, one thing that I really hope we get, there's a couple of innovations with Let's Go that I hope are a thing. I hope Gen 8 looks a little more, like, for lack of a better word, like HD than Let's Go. Like,
Yeah.
Let's Go is cute. And it's got like a cute kind of cartoony little kid like appeal to it with like the way the characters are drawn and everything. I want a little more like Pokemon Coliseum, but like HD style, like kind of more human proportion characters. I want it to look really beautiful and like, you know, it can still look cartoony, but like I want that like high def, like you put all your money into making this game kind of experience. Like it's a $60 Pokemon game, make it a $60 Pokemon.
Yeah.
That said, I really hope we get the Pokemon that follow you around, like in Let's Go.
Yes.
I think that was a great innovation back in Heart Gold and Soul Silver. I want it again. Like the fact that I know it's hard to do because you have to make a walk animation for every Pokemon.
Right.
And like that's a lot of work. But I want it. Make it a thing. Like work on it, you know? Take billions of dollars out of your budget, Game Freak, to make it a thing. In addition to that, I really hope that they keep the Let's Go style of being able to see the Pokemon in the overworld.
Absolutely.
That's a change I'd be all on board for. Like as non-traditional as it is, it's cool that you can actually walk around and be in like the water and see a Gyarados and say, I'm gonna go fight that Gyarados. Like, I've wanted that since I was a little kid. I used to have these fantasies of playing like a big Pokemon game where like you're in a park and there's a big lake and the Gyarados just comes out of the water. Like I've wanted that for years. So like even a smaller step of that, like being out in the wild and seeing a Pikachu and like chasing him down and getting to catch him, like I want that to be a thing. That's super cool.
So how does that work though for the randomness part of it? You just have to keep walking back and forth
I
until
bet
they
you there's still going to be tall grass, but I bet you there'll be tall grass. I mean, obviously we don't know Gen 8. This is all speculation. But if they do it, and I was Game Freak, I would have the best of both worlds, right? Like you can go attack that wild Gyarados that you see over there, but if you walk into a cave, you're probably gonna run into some random battles too.
Yeah. And I think if you analyze the way Pokemon has been growing since like the Alola stuff in Gen 7, you see that kind of becoming the natural trend. Because in Gen 7, you have those bushes that shake where the Pokemon will chase you. You have the trees that shake and you actually see the silhouette of the Pokemon before it attacks you. And you like know what you're getting into. Like they're playing with that idea of Pokemon existing in the world that you're exploring. In the remakes, there's Pokemon that wander all over the place. There's like a giant Beware in the background. There's like a Magmar in one of the areas. You can actually see and interact with Pokemon. And that's cool because ironically enough, Pokemon has always felt kind of devoid of actual Pokemon.
Right.
You know, they just stay in your pocket and you never see them. I would love a game where Pokemon populate the world and you actually feel like you're in a world full of Pokemon. So I hope that's a thing. I really want that to be a thing.
I want to jump on to what your wants. Another addition that the Pokemon Let's Go is going to be adding is co-op play. I really want that to be a thing. Like I want there to be the ability to, of course, still be able to solo the whole entire game. But like if I wanted to jump into a party with my buddies Lucas and Steve, and we wanted to do like a 3-on-3 battle against like a gym leader, that maybe there's a certain section of the game where requires like I guess clans or raids, for a lack of a better term, right? Like you can only go into the Poke Tower section with a group of 4 people because it's going to be a co-op section.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
I actually have a thought on that, and you know where I'm going with this because I've been clamoring for it for years, but I think the battle frontier that they need to put in this game, because it should be a thing, I think the battle frontier would be a great place to have like an online hub. I think you go into the battle frontier and there's all these different modes. You can do a battle with like randomized Pokemon. You can do like a battle with special rules. You can do just straight up like battles against like computer gym leaders or even like player on player gym leaders. And like you can actually go into an online hub, connect with Eugene and Steve, form a team, and go to a room and like challenge that room together.
Yes,
like that would be
please.
really
I like that.
have like a 3-on-3 battle. We each get like random Pokemon, or we each have to play with only grass types, or like whatever the rules are, and we get to like challenge those things together.
The tiny cup or something like that.
Yeah. Exactly. I just want. I've been saying this. I say it all the time on the podcast, so forgive me if it sounds repetitive. But the moment I turned old enough to actually know how to play Pokemon beyond like the core game, like the minute that I was old enough to actually make a team and build a good team and start getting my team together, Pokemon stopped having that. Like by Gen 5, Pokemon stopped putting that stuff in. It had the battle subway, sure, but that was just the battle tree, which was just the battle maison. They're all the same thing. Like, give me that huge end game experience where I get to go in and really challenge this team I've built without having to play online, because online play doesn't do it for me. Online play is just people saying, I like Mewtwo and Ho-Oh and Lugia, and all of the legendary Pokemon from, Ultra...
Every generation.
Yeah.
But what's all the Pokemon from Oris can, like, Mega Evolve at the same time. So I can have, like, a Kyogre and a Rayquaza and a Mega Pokemon. And, like, I don't want that. I don't want to fight your, like, cookie-cutter legendary teams. I want to fight, like, actually well-thought-out teams where, like, my good strategy versus your good strategy, and you don't have an advantage just because you're using all these unfair like rules and regulations.
Although a lot of people that use those cookie cutter legendary teams still get their butts handed to them.
Yeah,
because a lot of my teams can kick a legendary team's butt with very little effort.
I'm kind of with you on that one. I'm definitely with you on that one, Lucas, because I super enjoyed and appreciated the. I can't remember what Pokemon it was, but what Pokemon game it was. But, in the post game, you can literally choose, okay, I'm going to be on a tiny cup, or I'm going to be on the heavy cup, or I'm going to be like, and then you have to gear your Pokemon towards that. Like, that would be amazing to be able to do in the new game.
I believe Emerald did it, and I believe they had it in Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2.
Yeah, they did, and to another degree, I don't think it had those exact specifications, but Platinum had a lot of post content with their Battle Frontier or whatever it was. I think it was called the Battle Frontier, but no, like they had these like in-game tournaments where you had to be good. Yeah. You couldn't just choose like your own Pokemon. You had to make a good team and have a strategy because these computers came at you hard. I miss that challenge. I don't like these like random battle 50 trainers in a row. Oh, and if you lose, you have to start from the beginning.
Yeah.
I want that progression of growth, like, I'm hoping that's a thing. I'm hoping, if nothing else, I'm hoping that they put something like that in this time. I think the fan demand has been really strong for a while for it.
Yeah.
I'd like to see something like that.
The one thing I want more than anything from Gen 8, and you kind of alluded to this earlier, Lucas, South Park, The Fractured But Whole looks like an episode of the cartoon. Yeah. The Dragon Ball Fighter Z game looks like an episode of the cartoon. I want this game to look like an episode of the cartoon.
That would be really cool.
That would be an amazing art style. I think it would work well. I don't think it would be too intensive, considering there's going to be more than 807 Pokemon by the time this game comes out, and you can do Pokemon Bank and all that. But I just want it to look like an episode of the cartoon. They came really close in Sun and Moon, but it still wasn't quite right in the overworld. If they could do it for South Park, why can't they do it for Pokemon?
I could see that, like a really nice, high quality, like almost cell shaded kind of design that makes it look like an episode from the anime.
The Switch is a powerful system. Seeing what it can do in Hyrule Warriors, seeing 100 enemies on screen at a time in a fully fleshed out environment, 3D environment, it can do a lot. I want to see him make the best of that system with this Gen 8 game.
Yeah, for sure. My final want for this game is that, like, we talked a lot about the post-game content and everything like that, but my one fear for that, and because this is what happened to me with Diamond and Platinum, I believe, was that game had almost too much stuff locked behind the post game. Like a lot of the best stuff was locked behind the post game, in my opinion. So I still want there to be something compelling to do post game, but at the same time, I still want like to be able to do a lot of that good. I don't want it to be locked behind having to beat the Elite Four. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I actually, while we were talking, one other thing that I want to see that kind of goes along with that is I'd like the main game to be a little more like random and fun. Like I'd like to have in Gold and Silver, one thing that they have are swarms. Where like, a swarm of Heracross have just shown up at route whatever. I would like to actually be able to go to that route and have Heracross like all over the place, and like have that just be like a random event, you know, like more things like that, like random events or weekly events. Things that make me want to play the game day to day and make it more of like a lifestyle game as opposed to just like a grindy RPG.
I mean,
like,
you could literally just take like the elements that Pokemon Go already have in it, right? Like just like, okay, you have to catch 5 fire type today and then you get like this or something like that.
Yeah. It would just be nice to have a reason to jump in every day beyond I love this game.
Yeah.
You know, or they could throw in weather on the different routes too, like they did in Ruby and Sapphire.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. They could even go back to the seasonal thing like they did in Gen 5. I know it wasn't the most popular option, but it did make the game different. Every month, your game became a different season, and there were new things to do. Like,
hell, make it correspond with the real world.
Yeah. Like, if the game is immersive enough, I would play Pokemon for an entire year and see, like, you know, winter and summer and stuff. Like, I want it to be more immersive. I want it to be, like, I love Pokemon. I want Pokemon to be a game that I want to pick up every day, and not just a game that like I force myself to play because there's aspects of it that I really like, you know?
Right. Yeah, no, for sure. And I don't know, like this, and Steve, you've already said this before, but like this really could be the biggest Pokemon game only because, and I say that only because of this Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu that's coming out, because I think it's going to really help to broaden the player base, because, you know, people are going to have Switches, they're going to have Let's Go Eevee, Let's Go Pikachu, so hopefully that means that when Gen 8 finally rolls around, it's just going to have a massive support, right? So then it's going to be like just so awesome to like just get into the global trade system and just see everybody, you know, playing the game on Twitter. Like I want that. I can't wait for everybody, for the zeitgeist around that game, you know?
Yeah. Totally agree. Okay, so one last thing before we call it, because I think we're winding down with this. I would like us each to predict, just as a fun little moment in history here, the animal or basis for each of the 3 starters that you think is going to come out. You can pull these right out of thin air. It doesn't matter. You can say like a grass platypus and a fire monkey and whatever you want. But give me your 3 predictions for the starter Pokemon. I'll give you a second to think about it. I'll make a note. We'll edit this part out, but when we have it, let's think it through. So.
Could I go first? But does it have to be a prediction? Could it be more of a want?
Oh, make it a want by all means. That's pretty much how we did the E3 bingo cards anyway. So,
I was fucking pissed in Sun and Moon that the kitty cat was a fire Pokemon. I want a kitty cat grass Pokemon. That is if there's a cat grass Pokemon, that's going to be I'll get a tattoo of that motherfucker. Like, that's what I want. Kitty cat grass Pokemon.
I want a fire frog. Like, that would go so well with Greninja. And I know that Greninja is still fairly recent, so the odds are pretty slim. But I think a fire frog would be kind of an interesting little change.
That would actually be really cool. I feel like they could tie in really well with like Japanese mythology too. I feel like that's kind of already a thing. I want some kind of slime. Like, and not like Dragon Questy slime, but like I want some kind of like goopy, slimy, kind of like the dragon slime Pokemon that we have. Like I want something like that for either like a grass or a water type. Just some kind of goopy little adorable monster that's made out of goo. And I don't have specifics in mind for these ones, but I'd just like to see these Pokemon be a little more bestial again. Like I wasn't crazy about it. Even the ones I really like Fennekin's Final Evolution or Chespin's Final Evolution, they're like humanish, you know, like they stand on 2 legs and they've got like armor and clothing and like Like, bring me back to that, like, Gen 1, Gen 2 stuff where they were all just, like, animals and dinosaurs and stuff.
Yes.
I miss that.
Yeah, and I don't know exactly how I'd tie these two types together, but I want the final form of the water Pokemon to be electric. It's been a long time since we've had a really fun water electric duo. Chinchou and Lantern are the last ones I can think of. But you know, and the fun thing that they usually do with the starters is the secondary types. So if water beats fire, fire beats grass, and grass beats water, they do that with the secondary types too. And that one's a little bit harder to get into, but like fairy beats dark. I'm just trying to think back to last generation. Dark beats ghost, and then I think ghost is neutral against fairy, if I remember right. But they kind of did the whole triangle of the secondary types too, so that would be fun to see.
I would like to see some kind of grass steel Pokemon that isn't Ferrothorn.
Yeah,
I don't like him. I want like a grass steel type that's actually cool, because I think that typing is really awesome, even though it'd be incredibly weak to fire and would just melt in an instant. Like, I want some kind of like exciting creative typing this time around. That's definitely something I'd be on board with. No more fighting fire. No, like, and I get it. Incineroar is fighting dark, but like, it's the same thing we've had for like everything else, you know? The fire type Pokemon always ends up becoming some awkward wrestler type. Like, just give us a fire type that's not like a humanoid wrestler. That's all I ask.
I don't even know what to do for my grass Pokemon. Like, I got nothing.
Go with the grass kitty.
I know we were kind of gonna end off the show, but I just thought of something that might get us talking for a little bit.
Hey, do it.
What if they bring a new type with this game?
Oh, that would be nice.
Oh, Eugene.
Okay,
Eugene.
so the briefest of backgrounds for any listeners who are unaware, Dark type was a type that was introduced along with Steel in Gen 2 to help balance the game out. Many, many, many years later in Gen 6, we got Fairy type to help balance out the overpowering dragons. I would love a new type, and I've actually had a type in mind. I don't know if this is the type I would want if we only get one new type, but I have wanted a sound type Pokemon for so long.
That would be cool.
I think you could already tie a lot of already existing Pokemon into it. You could have that Noivern, the dragon.
Yeah.
You could have Jigglypuff. You could have the what's his name, the guy with the teeth and the two ears, like the bunny that has like the speakers coming out. Loudred.
Oh, yeah, Loudred.
You could have like all of those Pokemon, like a Meloetta. Any Pokemon that has like a sound-based style to them.
I love this idea.
I'd like to see a sound element team. I think that could be really fun. I think they could do some cool things with that.
That would completely ruin my hyper voice.
Or make it better.
Yeah.
Is there any Pokemon type right now that is like overpowered or needs nerfing? That's
honestly, probably the closest one is Fairy, just because it doesn't have many weaknesses. It's got a weakness to Steel and it's got a weakness to Poison, and that's it. The thing about Fairy is most of the Fairy types kind of suck, and there's only a handful of Fairy types at the moment. But there will come a time when Fairy outgrows everything and it needs to be put down. Kind of in the same way, like Dragon wasn't a big deal when there was one Dragon Pokemon and he was half flying. Now there's like 50 dragons and like they run amok. So no, I could definitely see that being a thing. Fire type too actually hasn't been put down in a long time.
Yeah,
it's kind of had its free reign for a while as being like the offensive, Pokemon of choice, especially with Pokemon like Blaziken, who get like speed boosts every turn and just totally outpower people. Like, yeah, I could see there being some things like that. Did you guys have any types in mind in particular, or do you just really want this to be a thing like I do?
I like that your sound idea. I'm gonna piggyback off of that. I'm not creative enough to think of a new type, but like I can get all over something like that for sure. The only other thing I can think of is like we have a dark type, so maybe like a light type. So like maybe we can have like an angel type Pokemon, like an angel fairy or something like that mix. That'd be kind of cool, right?
Cool.
That would be pretty cool. Yeah, and no, go ahead, Steve.
I was gonna say the only thing I want that's even close to that is like 3 new types of Eevees. Like
yes, we have there has to be a new Eevee evolution. Yeah, there has to be a new Eevee evolution.
So
At
they
least
did make the announcement, kind of going back to Let's Go Pikachu, that there was going to be a new Pokemon that you can transfer as a gift from that game into Pokemon Go. And all of the wording seems to indicate that it's going to be an entirely new Pokemon that we've never seen before. I think an Eevee would be an excellent choice for that. And I'm expecting an Eevee, honestly. I'm expecting a new Eevee evolution to be the thing that we get. I don't know whether it'll be a rock Eevee or a ghost Eevee or what we're going to see. But Dragon Eevee would be amazing.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think Dragon and Ghost are probably the two that everybody fight for all the time.
I would kill for a dragon type Eevee. That would be the most beautiful. Some kind of little like dragon dog fox thing that
I just imagine
it
looking like a cross between an Eevee and a Spyro.
Yes. Or alternatively, like a Robo Eevee and it's a steel type. I would take some kind of like I like the man-made Pokemon idea, like how Porygon was like built as like a computer program and Genesect was like built to, like whatever. Like I like those Pokemon that were like man-made. I would be all on board for somebody like building like an Eevee robot and having it be like an actual like Pokemon.
Dude. That'd be so cool.
Well, thanks for putting all these thoughts into my head that now probably won't come true and just ruining my dream.
Yeah, we're going to be horribly disappointed when this game comes out now.
But I will say, and maybe this is a good stopping point for us. Gen 8 has the potential to be something entirely different because it's on a new system and it's the first home console Pokemon game that's going to be like a main series game. Like it has that potential to be something a lot bigger and more important than like any of the other Pokemon games have been. Whether it will be or not remains to be seen, but it definitely has more potential, I think, than like any of the other games have had so far. So let's hope that they take advantage of it.
For sure.
All right. Well, I guess on that note, unless we have anything else to add, we'll call it quits there for the night. Relatively short compared to our usual Infendo radio, but we really were just dishing about Pokemon. And one of the games we spent like a half hour talking about doesn't even really exist yet. We know nothing about it. So I guess that'll do it. Do we want to say where you can find us?
Yeah. Where can we find... Oh, God, you're the one that's doing this.
Eugene, where can we find you on the internet when you're not Pokemon hunting?
Well, lately I've been in a my PHP database trying to get Infendo.com back running. But it's up and running! Yay! Other than that, you can find me on Twitter at InfendoEugene. You can find me in the liquor store looking for some Hennessy.
Oh, man.
Ethan, where can we find you when you're not in the liquor store with Eugene looking for some Hennessy?
You can find me saving Hyrule across multiple timelines at the same time, because that's the thing you can do.
All equally valid and important to the structure of the narrative.
Exactly. You can find me at Gentis1 on Twitter, and you can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Gentis.
And in lieu of Justin not being able to make the show tonight because of time constraints, Justin actually just put up a new Let's Play of his Breath of the Wild shenanigans. So if you want to go to YouTube and check out Infendo Plays, that should be up now. And you can find him on his site, which I had in my head but just fell out. Somebody help me.
Utilidoric.com.
Utilidoric.com, where he blogs about all things Disney and Disney related. That's a microphone spike. And you can find me primarily this weekend on HughAdventure.com, frantically updating this game and getting the release out for my lovely $5 patrons. So if you're a $5 patron, please don't quit on me. I promise that update's coming tomorrow night. Other than that, my Twitter is Chromatic Hugh. So if you're really looking for me, I'm there too. And I guess that's going to do it for this special edition of Infendo Radio. Thanks for listening. Enjoy playing Pokemon Pokemon Quest. If you can manage to pull that off, I'll be really impressed. And look forward to Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu, hopefully. That'll be a thing. And we will talk to you guys on the next episode of Infendo Radio next week. Have a wonderful day, week, month of your life. I went this exit thing go on way too long. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye!
I can't follow that up.
I figured I'd do my best Lucas impression since I'm basically Lucas tonight.
Had I closed my eyes, you would have sounded just like him. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah, that was legit. I was impressed.
Oh, that was fun.
That was fun. Well, we might not be having one of these in November, so it was nice to have a little,
Yeah.
Like a mini boss version of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
Say goodbye to our live listeners. Goodbye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Please, if you're listening to us, we would really appreciate it if you liked this video. Just one little click. We'd appreciate that. We'd appreciate it even better if you
here to watch other videos and subscribe.
And subscribe. That we really, 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 really would like you to subscribe. That, like, please, please, please. Thank you very much, guys.
So much.
Bye, y'all.
Bye-bye.